Hello there. I'm glad you tuned in again and my thumbnail magic worked on you. Today I want to show you how you can make a waterfall like this one in a few simple steps. As always, I hope this video will help someone. Prick up your ears, pull out the notepad and enjoy the video. At the beginning I came up with a simple layout. I then cut out small styrofoam chunks. I then assembled them with a hot glue gun. A quick word about styrofoam. I don't really like working with styrofoam because it crumbles very easily. However, crumbling can be prevented almost completely by treating the styrofoam with fire. After that, it becomes very solid. Another positive aspect of styrofoam is that the material is very cheap and is therefore well suited for larger projects than, for example, XPS foam. I always use a creme brulee burner to process the material. This is super useful when I want to deepen the surface in my game tiles, for example for a riverbed. If you want to do this too, please make sure not to inhale the resulting fumes. That's why I mostly build my boards outside in the fresh air. It would be even better to wear respiratory protection even there. Always be careful when working with these materials in unconventional ways. Next, I covered the polystyrene rock formation with bark. One or the other probably already knows this process from my cave time-lapse video. If you don't know it yet, click here for the video. A quick piece of advice on the bark. If you want to work with it, then you should definitely throw the bark in the oven. 20 to 30 minutes at 200 degrees should be enough to eliminate any bugs and other stuff inside.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
I overdid it a bit with the torch, so I had to patch a hole with tape. Here's an additional tip if you're building terrain and spotting a few mistakes here and there. Just try to cover it up somehow and incorporate your mistakes into your work. I then covered the gaps with putty. I also worked with paper mache for the first time. It has worked well for me. The only thing you have to keep in mind with the paper mache is that it takes some time to dry out firmly. In my case, it took 2 to 3 days. In general, I always try to complete a project rather quickly than to deal with endlessly tedious details. I think terrain building has to be fit for purpose. It must be recognizable what you want to represent and ideally look reasonably good. But overall, I'm more of a bulk than a class guy when it comes to terrain building. When everything had dried well, I went to the rock formation with black paint and primed it completely. Next time I would do the step before covering the bottom with soil, but in this case, fortunately, it worked out quite well. The next step was to paint the rocks. I always do the whole thing in 3 simple steps and I'm always quite satisfied with the result in the end. The first paint I use is a medium gray and I use it to cover the whole rock formation. Once the paint has dried, I then go in with a lighter gray and cover the whole rock formation again. The last color I use is a plain white to highlight all the rocks and edges. Away from the camera, I then poured epoxy resin into the riverbed and rock outcrop. You can see the result here. The next steps are about modeling a waterfall and making the water a little more realistic and moving. I measured the height of my waterfall and then I smeared water effects from Woodland Scenics onto a piece of cling film. The material should harden clear at the end. This then covers well with the already transparent cling film. Then I used the water effects to make the smooth water move a bit, because the waterfall should set the water below properly in motion. When the waterfall had hardened, I then connected it to the rock formation with the help of wood glue and also a little water effect. I used cotton wool to simulate the roaring water hitting the lake at the end of the waterfall. In this case, the cotton should simulate the spray of the water. In addition, I tried to simulate wavy movements of the water moving away from the water's impact. When everything was well dried again, I then brushed the water surface with a white dry brush. And so I made the waterfall. I hope the video was helpful. Feel free to check out my other videos here on YouTube. If you would like to support me, please give me a like and subscribe to this channel. I wish you all a good day, the Fantasy Edge.